Cool. This is like making sure that we're on everywhere. Everybody, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello, everybody on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Periscope. If you guys want to give me hearts or give me a thumbs up or share, feel free to do so, because there are some people out there who might need a reading and they may need the link to the video so they can get over to the live. So I hope y'all are doing well. Hey Shenandoah. Hey Shenandoah. Hey Lizzie. Hello everybody. All right guys, so I'm gonna go over my ground rules and then we'll dive right in, okay? Because I know I'm a few minutes behind here. I have to finish my walking, take a shower. So my statements are personal opinions, not proven facts. Whatever decisions or actions you take in your life, you are 100% responsible and liable for. You can change your future. It's never set in stone. What I see is an energetic forecast of what's to come. Doesn't mean that it's a certainty. You can always make changes if you want. Of course, I am not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. You can still ask me those kinds of questions, but for legal medical advice or treatment, please consult a licensed professional. Psychics and mediums like myself, we do not know everything. We do not see everything. We sense things. There's a big difference. So don't expect me to know every single detail there is to know about you, because I can't even remember some of the stuff that I did this morning. So ain't gonna happen, y'all. But we are able to sense things, and my job is just to focus and tune in and then try to sense as much detail as I can, and hopefully break that down for you or give that back to you in a way that hopefully will make sense for you. If you're wanting to connect with a loved one in spirit, just let me know who you want me to connect with, and I will try to connect with that individual and bring through any messages that they may have for you. It's not like they're right in front of me, so we're not speaking perfect English with them, and many spirits don't speak English, they speak other languages, but they speak a form of telepathy, and so they're my thoughts, my emotions, and my memories, and I've got to pay attention. And you, it says pause because of connection issue, so I'm like making sure we're like, what's going on here? It's like, what's happening here? They don't always communicate directly everything, and but sometimes they do. Sometimes they literally just give me exactly what I need to say, and I just overthink it, and I just need to like spit it out. If you want to ask me about your life, please be specific with your questions. General questions will not be answered because I don't have time for that. I need to get to as many people as I can, and the more specific your question to help me understand what's going on, the better. If you have cryptic questions like should I have done it, or what does she think of me, or what's his problem, like get real, y'all. Like if you go to some random person in the street and you tell them that, they're gonna slap you across the face. You're gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about, bitch? Like they're not gonna know what you're talking about. So I need you to be specific. So I kind of know what you're asking me, so I can tune in and then pull out the information that I need to give it to you. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm not going in any particular order. I'm not gonna be answering, of course, everybody's question because there's a lot of people, but I will try to get to as many of you as I can. And if you do get a message or you do receive a reading, feel free to respond or to share your experience or share your review in the post that will be on my page, whether it's on YouTube or on Instagram or on Facebook after this. So feel free to share on there your experience or how you connected with the message, so it helps other people understand how the connections are made. Okay. Oh, also one last bit. If you're on YouTube or on Facebook, if y'all see any trolls, which are people who are going to go in there who start messaging y'all, asking y'all to like, hey, message me and I'll read you, or I can read you accurately or whatever. These are trolls people. These are people who are trying to take your money. Do not give your money away to some random person on the internet. So just report that person as spam, report them as spam, and then block them. And that's after that. Because there's enough dings on them to spam them, then they can't go to somebody else's page and do the same thing. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm not going in any particular order, like I said, so I'm just going to bounce around here. Hey, everybody. Monica Giron. Hi, would like to see if mom and brother might have many messages for me. Yeah, so first of all, brother, I'm seeing happy birthday. So I don't know if you're within 30 days of a birthday, or you are, your brother's birthday's coming up, or there's a connection there because he's showing me happy birthday. So there's a reference there. So that's one thing. They also keep acknowledging, thank you, the number 12, the the number 11, the number 12, and the number 13. So whenever I see dates like that, I usually think it is a date. So for me, it's like 11 and 12, which would be November and December, and then the 13th would be the 13th of a month. But it could also be the actual 11th, 12th, and 13th of a month. But there's something weird about that or funny about that. So there's dates or some reference there that may be connected to that. They also, thank you, your brother keeps acknowledging, thank you. He's like, he's putting his hand over his mouth. Whenever someone does that, it usually means I didn't get a chance to speak or I wasn't able to say goodbye. So he's acknowledging that or making reference to that. So if you know, if you were not able to say goodbye or someone didn't get a chance, that's immediate family. He's just wanting to let that person know it's okay. He also keeps showing me an anchor. So I don't know if there's like a necklace. My grandpa used to have a necklace with an anchor on it, which was like a navy or a nautical symbol. He's showing me something like that. So there might be an anchor, either tattoo or an anchor necklace, or there's some fishing tattoo or a fishing symbol, because he's referencing that being significant as well. Mom says hello. She's also acknowledging flowers. She's also referencing thank you. You might have smelt her or felt her in the kitchen. I almost feel like it's smell though, and she's just wanting to let you know that that was her. Okay. Let's see. The basis here, so I honestly don't know if it's COVID or if it's just a cold, but I do think that part of it is also because of allergies, so you're being affected by more than one thing at the same time. I do think you need to get tested twice though, because one of the tests either may not show something accurately or you may need to retest because of some issue with the first test, okay? I feel like I just answered my question. I feel like I just answered my question. Like if you test inaccurately for one, but inaccurately for the other, that would indicate that it would be COVID. So that might have answered the question. It's funny how sometimes there's some workarounds, like whenever you're trying to ask a yes or no question. With a psychic, when you ask a yes or no question, you pretty much put the psychic's mind into a corner, like you're either right or you're wrong. And most psychics, like myself, when we don't have enough confidence in ourselves, which I totally have confidence, but most psychics who don't have enough confidence built in, they will immediately, it becomes a guessing game, because at that point their intuition kicks out, because they are put in a corner where they have to say yes, like they have to be right or wrong. They're put in a corner, and so when you put a psychic in a corner, you're probably not going to get an accurate answer. What I found is that there's a workaround on that. If you ask a question that can still answer the first question, but also give you additional information, that can actually get you to work around that little hiccup that tends to happen for most psychics, so that they don't have to put themselves in a corner like that, and instead they're asking themselves, okay, before I answer that, let me answer this for myself. And then you start to pull other information, and then there's usually detail in there that kind of leads to the answer anyway, so that way you can get more accurate with that. Just a trick for some of you who are wanting to develop your psychic abilities, okay? Anushmi Bhattacharya. I hope I said that right. Please excuse me if I did it. Hi, Ferny. I am looking for a new job. When will I get it? I think that you're about a month and a... I think you might find something in about 6 weeks. Something might come up in about 6 weeks. A lead. You might get a lead in about 6 weeks, but it might take another 3 weeks after that before you actually get a job. So it might take about a month and a half to 2 months. I'm sorry, is that 2 months? Yeah, I think it's 2 months. So it might take about that much time. It has to do with, it's got something to do with importing, exporting resources or goods of some sort. So I feel like the job has something to do with either it's a natural resource or it's good, but it has to do with like an import, export process of some sort, okay? Aiden 120107. My grandpa died a few years ago. Does he have anything to say to me? The first thing he's acknowledging is he's almost apologizing about the parents. So I don't know if you've had the greatest relationship with your parents lately or with your immediate family, but he's almost acknowledging or apologizing about this. So it's almost like he's wanting to acknowledge like whatever's going on here. He also keeps he also keeps acknowledging coins. So you might find coins in like random places, and this is his way of letting you know that he's around you. He also keeps acknowledging thank you. The number 4, so either the 4th of a month is significant or April is significant. He also keeps referencing dolphins. So I don't know if you had an experience where you saw dolphins and thought of him, or there's something about dolphins or going to SeaWorld, visiting some sort of a ocean place, like a park or something like that with him that he's referencing, but he's acknowledging that for me as well. He also says he did try to communicate in a dream just to kind of let you know that he was aware of the situation, or he's aware of what's going on in your life and letting you know that it was going to be okay. So he's almost making me aware of that, okay? Also, there might be some clarity around a career change or a career situation for you in early 2021. It's Shali. It's Shali. Yellow. Okay. I might have to start that all over again. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Yay. Okay, cool. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the craziness. Anyways, back to Shali. To answer your question, I don't see any kind of like taking a relationship to the next level or engagement type thing. I'm not seeing anything like that until I want to say September 2022. So it may take you another year and a half before you get close to anything like that. As far as like being able to change or get closer to where they are, I do think that there might be an opportunity, a job opportunity that might give you a chance to get closer to them in about 6 months. It's not like in the same city, but it might be close enough where it's only going to be like a short drive away from them. So about 6 months, okay? All right, let's see. Francine loves makeup. Hi, Ferny. My coworker went missing a year ago. She has 3 kids and don't know if she is dead. Can you please help? So this is definitely a missing persons case type scenario. If the family would like my help, I mean, I'm more than happy to help the family. I have to receive a request from the family, immediate family, because I don't like meddling in people's like business if it's going to be like a disrespect to the family. So if you want to reach out to the family, if they're wanting to connect with me, I will be more than happy to offer any assistance in doing a missing persons read on them for free, because I don't charge for missing persons cases, but it has to be by the family that's directly impacted. I will say this, I don't feel confident about her being around, because I'm not feeling a lot of human emotion. I'm actually feeling more of like a memory of something, which usually indicates that someone's not around anymore. And I definitely feel that there was foul play involved as well. And I also think that it might have been around someone that another male that she might have been interacting with or involved with at the time. So I feel like there's a link there that might be connected to that. But have the family reach out to me, and then if they email Roxy, she'll have them do the missing persons form, and then I'll get I'll get around to them. I don't get to do them like as soon as someone requests it, just because I have several that I work on, and so right now I'm about to start on a new one because I'm finishing up on an old one. So and then I'll be able to hopefully move on to that one afterwards. Okay. Laura Craggle, Texas TX designer. Has my brother been visiting my house? I'm feeling yes, but question what I am seeing. I think it's a combination of things. I think that, yes, I do think that your brother has been coming around. I also think there's an older male, like a grandfather or a father-in-law or father figure, that's also been coming around as well. But I also think that some of the stuff you might be experiencing in your house, it may not all be connected to the same thing, because sometimes people, they'll experience one thing and then they'll experience another thing, and they automatically lump them in as if they're all the same person or the same thing, and that's not always the case. Actually, most times that's not always the case. I think that there's several different things happening simultaneously, and some of the energy that you might be picking up in your home may actually be the residual of your own mental state or of your own emotional state. So there may be some energy that's kind of like there that you might be interacting with or engaging with, but then at the same time, I do think that your brother is coming around, and then which you might pick up on a smell that you might recognize as the brother, and then also a father-in-law type figure type thing. So there's a few things there. Okay. Miley Chapa 96. Hey Ferny, any messages from my father? Felix, thank you. Yes. Immediately he is pointing to himself. So whenever someone does this, it means that either they contribute to their own passing or they committed suicide. I'm not thinking this is a suicide though. I think he just is acknowledging contributing to his own passing. So he may have not taken care of himself, or he may have let himself go, or his situation, he may not have kept up with it, because he's acknowledging that. He's also talking about he should have been paying attention. That's what he's saying. He should have been paying attention. So there's a reference there as well. Thank you. He also makes me feel like he had warning signs, or there was indicators that something wasn't right or something was off, but he didn't either take enough action quickly enough to prevent this, or he didn't act at all to prevent this, but he's almost making me feel like that. He also keeps referencing thank you. He is pointing to his head, so I want to say that whatever was going on did impact or affect his mind or his head, because he's pointing to his mind, he's pointing to his brain, so he's acknowledging that. He also keeps talking about like he couldn't speak, like I lose motor control, or I can't use my mouth. So I don't know if he lost his mobility with his mouth and his nerves, or he just couldn't actually like move his mouth, because he's making me feel this way, almost like off, like something wasn't really doing what it was supposed to do. He also keeps referencing thank you. There might be a picture, this can sound odd, there might be a picture, I don't know if he knew how to sign. I know like some people, they know how to, sometimes if someone's trying to talk and they can't say what they need to say, they use their fingers to try to gesture or to make a gesture. If that's not it, then he might be actually acknowledging like a sign, like if he knew how to sign or do something with his fingers. It could also be where he's like doing this and there's a picture of him doing this, the peace symbol, but I feel like it's got something to do with the finger symbol, because he's making reference to that. He's pointing to a neck. So I don't know, thank you. He's acknowledging 3. So there might be 3 necklaces, or there might be 3 things on a necklace, but he's referencing a necklace that's connected as well. He also, thank you, he just said Jesus. So I don't know if the name Jesus is connected, or he's wanting to, it's funny because he brought up your mom, but then he said Jesus. So if your mom is wanting to know that he's with Jesus, that may be what he's saying. If not, the name Jesus may be something he's trying to acknowledge for your mom, okay? Shandoa. Is Alex the person I'm supposed to be with? Is this a true thing or something that will end? Both. I think that I don't like it when people ask, am I supposed to be with this person? Like, you're supposed to be whoever the hell you want to be with. So don't ever feel like you're supposed to be with anyone, because I've got clients who they are in abusive relationships and their husbands beat them to hell, and they're like, but you know, the psychic, I went to a psychic and the psychic said that he's my soulmate, and I'm like, the psychic's a fucking idiot. That's what the psychic is. Like, the person's not your soulmate. Get out of the relationship, end it, and find something that's healthy, that is going to allow you to be happy. You're not supposed to be with somebody who's supposed to beat you to hell in a handbasket. So that's just my way of seeing it. With that being said, To answer your question, I'm supposed to be with, that's your choice. I'm not going to tell you whether you're supposed to be with him or not. However, I will say this, I definitely see the potential there, and I think that y'all may get close, and then y'all may take a break, and that break may last 2 or 3 months, or 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm thinking it's 2 or 3 months, and then y'all may get back together. And when y'all get back together, then I feel like that may be a better chance for y'all to kind of go further and longer term. But I feel like in that break is when y'all may realize some things about each other, okay? Here. Dana Deckard Hernandez. Hi, Ferny. I had a friend whose son Daniel passed on the 27th. His cause of death is unknown. Can you please shed light on the situation? There's a couple of things around this. One is I keep going inside the lungs, and I feel like I keep wanting to go inside the lungs, and I feel like something's off. What I'm reminded of, I'm reminded of a friend of mine who he used to work for me at Starbucks, and one morning he called me and he was like sounding crazy on the phone. I'm like, are you okay? What's going on? And he's like, I don't know what's wrong. But that's not what he sounded on the phone. He was like, that's all I could hear on the line. And I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, you need to call 911 or get, to a hospital. And it turned out that he had punctured his lung, and he was literally like fluid was filling in his lungs, and he was suffocating. So that doesn't mean that that's exactly the same thing that happened with the friend's son. But I feel like with Daniel, either there was some sort of a clot or something that might have affected the lungs that may have contributed to like fluid buildup or like fluid in his body. He also makes me feel there was a lack of oxygen to his brain as well. He also makes me feel that day he may have actually taken something or drunken something that may have been a contributing factor or may have added on, but it may not necessarily have been the cause of his passing. I feel like it's got something to do with the respiratory system or the lungs. So I feel like there's something connected to that in that way. I'm trying to figure out if it's almost like if I hit something and it punctures, or something hits me and it punctures, or if this is just like a weird thing that happened. I don't feel an intention behind this though. So I don't feel like there was an intention for the loss of oxygen or for the lack of oxygen or the fluid. I don't feel like there was a lack of this, but I mean there was an intention. I feel like this might have been an accident or unintentional. I don't feel like this was intentional, okay? Abby Schmidt, do you see me doing well with my new job? I feel like yeah, I think so. I want to say that the first 3 or 4 months might go a lot easier than you would expect, or it might be easy peasy. After the 4th month, it's going to really get harder, and it's going to be a lot more complicated, because whatever's going on in the world or in the country or in the market is somehow going to affect the business. And so that may start to create a lot of instability or inconsistencies or make things feel a little bit iffy. But I think if you hang in there, whatever that is may only go on for a couple of months, and then things may start to kind of line back up or get back to stability, and then start to get back to an easy place as well. You may also have an opportunity to change positions or to move into a different part of the organization or job in a couple of years, okay? Over here. Heather Hanan, I have a job interview coming up. I'm wondering if I'll get the job. A couple of things. Try to form as close a relationship or a friendly relationship to the person interviewing you as possible, like random stuff that y'all can connect on, just because I think that can kind of push you ahead of the line. I almost feel like there might be 2, maybe 3 opportunities at that job or at that organization. And even if you don't get in on the first round, you're maybe a second round, you might be able to get on. But I do feel that there's a likelihood you might be able to get in there. Okay, but strike up that conversation with the person doing the interviewing, because I feel like that's going to give you an edge and may help you to kind of stay on that person's thoughts when they're making their determination or whether the determinations are being made. Anushmita Patacharya, hope I said that correctly. I am looking for a new job, gave an interview today. Will I get it? If not, when can I get one? I actually think you might have 2 job offers within the next month or month and a half. So the one that you gave, you might get an offer, but it might be late, or you may not get it right away for some reason. Either that, or someone from a different department may call you and tell you that they want to try it, but then you might get another offer simultaneously with something else that you're more comfortable with, or you're more confident with. So you might actually have two job opportunities around the same time. So just be prepared for that. Hey guys, if y'all want insight, y'all need to be specific about the question, because just insight is going to be a broad question. Lovely dolls and toys. Aloha Ferny, what are the names of my guides, please, and what messages you have for me? I feel like you've got one main guide. There might be a couple of other guides, but they're secondary. I don't think they're primary. The main guide's name, that's the one you really want to worry about. The main guide's name is Teresa. It's a female. Yeah, it's a female, Teresa. So I think that's the main guide's name. The message that they have for you is don't scatter your energy. You might have a tendency of scattering your energy. You're trying to do like 5 things at the same time. Stick to 1 or 2. If you can't stick to 1 or 2, you're not going to get far enough along on any plans or intentions you have, specifically with work and career or business opportunities, okay? Aw. Olga Karina Hall. I was just thinking about you. Wish I could watch the whole bit, but I have a final tonight. I get it. I understand. Gloria Sedgwick. Will my marriage last? I feel like you've got about 1 year and 7 months to get it to turn around, which means both of you working on it. So about a year and a half. I honestly think that in about 1 year and 7 months, something may change, and you may end up not being in the marriage anymore. But I feel like you've got about 1.5 years to kind of get things sorted, to keep things going, because you can totally salvage the marriage, in my opinion. Also, there is a repeating issue in the marriage that you're going to definitely have to address properly, because you may not have addressed it prior, or you may not have addressed it before in the way to actually make it better. So just FYI, because I feel like there's a repeating issue here where this is something that has already been going on for some time, or it has happened before on a few times. Jessica M. Garcia, hi Ferny, any messages from my spirit guides? Yes, I don't know if you have been feeling drawn to babies or to children, but I feel like there's a reason for this, and I think that you working with children or doing something with children, or even working towards having a child is totally possible. So they're almost like acknowledging the opportunities for you there, and to kind of push you in that direction, because that's what they're making me feel. Okay. Michelle Lee, will my kids be okay with all of the changes I'm going through? I believe so, but I feel that the youngest one is going to need to be in some sort of therapy anyways. Not for that per se, but just because they may already suffer from anxiety, and they may not have the easiest coping mechanisms. So I feel like the youngest one is definitely going to need a little bit of an extra support. The older one, I think, is going to definitely be a lot stronger, more like that. I actually see a bunch of butting heads, so your relationship with the older one might take a hit, but the younger one I feel is going to need a little bit of extra support. Okay, there might be another child. I don't know how many children you have, but there might be another child that could potentially pop into your life or come into your life, but this is in about 2.5 to 3 years. Okay. Michelle Thompson, can you please connect me with my friend Ashton that just passed away? Her and her baby were found dead, and the other day, and she was found with her wrist slit. Yeah, I definitely don't think this is. First of all, she's apologizing, so that immediately tells me a lot. So she's apologizing about this because she makes me feel like she wasn't okay in her mind, or she was a little bit off, and she should have been on medication, or she had changed her medication. So there's something there. Her hormones were not ideal. She also makes me feel that this was a reactionary response because she was triggered by something that was going on in her life, either with a romantic person or in a romantic way. So that she's acknowledging being triggered, but she's not. She's not making me feel like this was because of someone else or foreplay. Foul play. She's not making me feel like it was to do with that. She's making me feel like it was. She's pointing to herself, so she's making me feel like she might have actually taken her own life, and think she's putting her hand on the baby. So definitely feels self-inflicted. Again, she's apologizing for that because she makes me feel like she wasn't okay and she should have been on medication or on a better medication. Guys, if you want to be on live with me or come on as a video, it's only on Instagram. There's a couple of little people at the bottom there on the video. If you click that, you can request to be a guest, which I'm about to do anyways. So let's see who wants to come on. Let's go to her. Hello. Hi, how you doing?
I'm really good. Oh my God.
Good. What do you want to ask me?
Oh, okay. So, my dad passed away last year, and my sister. Go ahead.
Don't tell me anymore. Don't tell me anymore. People tend to give away the banquet. So, immediately, first of all, there are 3 males in spirit. Are both your grandfathers also passed?
No.
Okay, there are 3 males in spirit. So I'm going to assume your dad is one of them. There's 2 males above him. So he's acknowledging 2 males above him in age who are with him. He also is acknowledging, thank you. Is there an Alex or an Ali or an AL sounding name that's connected?
I don't think so. I think we had a family member, I think named Alex, but I think a husband of a family member. We're Mexican, so we have a lot of family members, so I don't know any of them.
Welcome to the club. Is that person past the Alex?
No, I don't think so.
That's okay. They're acknowledging, so your dad's there. He's acknowledging these 2 males. They're bringing up that Alex name, so one of them might be connected to Alex. Definitely a cancer connection. Now, what's interesting, I'm seeing it twice. So there's two cancer connections. So there's a reference to 2 having the cancer. One of them would have had colon cancer or lower colon cancer, and then the other one would have had an issue with the prostate. So do you know of the 2 males that would have had cancer?
I'm not sure. I know my mom had a cousin who passed away from cancer a couple years ago.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly.
That's okay. You'll be able to look back at the video and then you can figure it out. Okay. Dad is also acknowledging, thank you. He's referencing the number 4. Do you know if the 4th of a month or March is connected?
It's my boyfriend and our anniversary, actually.
Okay. Got it. So he might just be acknowledging your anniversary or wishing you a happy anniversary. He's laughing. Happy anniversary. So I don't know why he's laughing about the relationship with your boyfriend, but he's laughing about the relationship with your boyfriend, but he's saying happy anniversary. He also keeps referencing thank you. He says, what? Something about putting someone's name on a vehicle or changing someone's vehicle into someone else's name. Do you know if there's something going on with putting someone's name on a vehicle or changing the name on the vehicle?
Yeah. My sister, so my dad had a car and my sister kind of claimed it and she's trying to sell it now without any of our permission.
Got it. He's acknowledging this. What he's doing is he's taking his belt off. So he's not really on board with that. So he's kind of wanting to let her know because he's taking his belt off. So he's just coming across in that way. So he's referencing that. He also keeps referencing that he has visited her in her dreams to communicate with her, and she's misinterpreting the dream. So she might be thinking it's saying one thing when he's actually saying something else altogether. So he's acknowledging that. He also says that he's the one that caused the curtain to move or the wind to go into the bathroom when you were taking a shower. Do you remember feeling like a wind or the curtain moving and like somebody had walked in or opened the door, but nobody had?
Kind of, yeah. I think like the other day I took a shower and like I always turn off all of the fans because I get cold right after, and it felt like really cold.
Okay, because he's
right after.
Yeah, he said he came to see you when you were taking a shower and he was trying to get your attention. He also keeps acknowledging he's drawing on my skin. Do you know if someone is planning on getting a tattoo for Dad? Because he's drawing on my skin.
So all of the daughters got tattoos, but I just got like I literally just got like a one of a
Hello.
like a concert.
Got it.
I have a lot, but
No,
a
that's okay. He's
couple.
just acknowledging the tattoo. So he's just referencing that or acknowledging that. He also talks about 4 or 5 memorial pieces of jewelry. Do you know if there are 4 or 5 memorial pieces of jewelry that are going to be connected to him?
He he has like 3 or 4 like watches that he's had from like his work and his job and just
Got
different.
it. He's splitting them up and he's giving them out. So he's almost acknowledging that he's okay with them being given out to people in for because of him. So he's acknowledging that. He's also showing me, thank you. Did y'all release balloons for him? Because he's showing me balloons, and typically that usually means balloons or there's a birthday right now.
No, no balloons.
So much mom's birthday.
Uh, no. Well, this is my mom's birthday month, actually.
Okay, so he's wishing her a happy birthday. So he's acknowledging that for her. He also keeps talking about the 12th. Do you know if the 12th of a month or December is also significant?
Um, it's no, I don't think so.
He's acknowledging the 12th. So either the month of December, there's something significant in that month besides Christmas. It's another date of significance, or the 12th of a month is connected because he's acknowledging that. There are 2 babies with him in spirit. So he's got 2 children that were miscarried, lost, or terminated, but he's referencing the children in spirit as well. He's also acknowledging, thank you. He's also, do you have an old polo shirt of his or an old shirt of his?
I am literally wearing
Oh,
his old like plaid
that's it. He's just
thing.
acknowledging the shirt. So he's just referencing that shirt that he knows that you have his shirt with you. So he's letting you know that he knows that. He says that he loves you. He also says, pay attention when you're driving because you may not be paying attention or you may be on your phone too often because he's making fun of that. So he's acknowledging that. He also says he messed with the radio or the music that came on. So he's acknowledging that. So I don't know if you were thinking about a song that and then it came on the radio, but he's acknowledging doing something to get your attention. Okay?
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
with you. He's with you. Okay? All right, sweetheart. You take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right, let's see. It's going over to, let's see. Let's go over to Mystic Mama. Come on, Mystic Mama. Mystic Mama. All right, Mystic Mama. I'm counting to 10 or 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll have to try you again at another time. Let's see who else. Um, let's do Rocky. Let's do Rocky Willow. Hey, Rocky Willow, I'm coming for you. Hello. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. How you doing?
I just got done with school.
Oh, well, good. What's good? That's good. At least you got done with school and you weren't in school when it was when I connected with you. What did you want to ask me?
Sorry.
No,
I
you're
just
fine.
wondered if my stepmom Carrie had anything she wanted to say to me.
So first of all, she showed me the number 3. Are there 3 of you kids?
She has 3.
Okay.
Of her
Okay.
own kids.
So aside from connecting with you, she also wants to acknowledge her 3. So she's referencing that. She also keeps talking about, you know, if it's gonna sound weird. I keep seeing the Great British Bake Offs. You know, there's something about a baking contest or a cooking contest or like coming together to like play around with recipes or make up stuff to eat because she's like showing me like I feel like I'm mixing a bunch of stuff up and it looks absolutely awful but it's delicious. So it's almost like not food.
I don't know. We used to like get cookies and sell them to or go to the truck stops and during Christmas time and
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh, got it. So that may be where she's going with. Okay, because she's acknowledging like the baking stuff or the cooking stuff or the stuff, and she was showing me like I was seeing British Bake Off, so she was just acknowledging that. She also keeps referencing Georgia or Georgie or Gigi or Joji. Is there like a nickname Joji or Gigi nickname that's connected?
No. She
It's an
goes,
animal. There's an animal that she's referencing. Do you know if there's a animal that was Gigi or Joji or
no.
I'll leave that with you, but just remember that I said that, and you can watch the video later. She also keeps referencing, do you sketch or draw?
Yeah, I used to.
Because she's showing me this. She's acknowledging your talent or your art, and she's almost acknowledging that sometimes people don't think that there's a lot there that they can use to like have a life around. She's like pushing you or like kind of poking you, like you might want to think about this, because she's acknowledging that as well. She also keeps referencing, thank you. Do you, I feel like I'm doing graphic design on a computer as well. Do you have a computer that you do drawings on or that you do graphic design? Oh no, I lost her. She disconnected. So I may have to, let me see. I'm gonna try you again, sweetheart. I'm gonna try you right back now to see if you come back on. If not, then I'll have to try you again. Let's see. See you. I hope her battery didn't die. I remember her face because she had a very unique picture. Come on, where you at, girl? That's okay. I may have to come back to you, sweetheart. I may have to come back because I'm not seeing you. Hey, let's see. Le Piloto. I'm coming for you, Le Piloto. You're gonna accept my invitation. I'm gonna count to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, Mama. Well, I tried you, girl. I tried you. So let's try again and see where people don't want to come on today. Why doesn't anyone want to come on live with me today? Let me try you again, Mystic Mama. Let me see if you can. She declined. You declined me, Mystic Mama. So you declined me. I'm going to try you one more time. If you decline me, pass it up, okay? Let's see where she's at. Now I'm not seeing you at all. Let's see. So she's at the top again. Sometimes they show up. Oh, there you are. Let me try you again. Let's try you again.
Hello? Oh, sorry.
Hey, how are you
Hi.
doing?
Oh my God, I'm like sitting here having a panic attack. So I'm like, how does it work?
No,
I'm so sorry.
You made it. It's okay.
Yay!
What did you want to ask me?
I wanted to know if my dad, Greg, has any messages for me, or if my spirit guides have any messages for me.
Definitely think you're dead, Dad, Greg, because I was already getting that George or G. It might have been from the last one. Okay, so first of all, your dad is acknowledging. Thank you. Did y'all used to celebrate 2 birthdays at the same time, or 2 birthdays around the same time because of the date or because of where they happen? Because he's acknowledging like 2 celebrations at the same time. He just showed me Halloween as well, so it's almost like, oh, someone's birthday party would also be their Halloween party. Is there something like this? Because he's acknowledging something like this.
It could be my grandmother, because her birthday is October 23rd.
Okay, so there's an acknowledgement about that. Yeah. You have a lot of people.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Dad is pointing to himself. Okay, got it. When usually means that there's a suicide or they contribute to their passing, but I want to take it as a contributing. Do you know if he contributed to his passing, or he may have actually brought about his own condition, because he's making me feel like he didn't do enough to kind of shift the trajectory of where this is going for him?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't take care of himself the way he should have. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's showing me this. He's also talking about a donor. Do you know they had talked to him that he would probably need a donor, or he would probably need a transplant? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was denied.
Got it. He's acknowledging that because he's like when that happened, it kind of made him feel embarrassed and a little ashamed because he felt like, to some extent, he almost felt invincible, you know, like he didn't think anything would ever happen to him because he had just been doing this for so long. And so it finally came to he's acknowledging that. He also says that, thank you. Do you know if he was also having difficulty urinating or peeing because he's acknowledging that he couldn't pee right or he couldn't go to the bathroom often?
I am not 100% sure, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, because he's also embarrassed or acknowledging or apologizing for soiling himself or having accidents and not telling people or not wanting to say anything.
He probably did. He downplayed a lot when it came to telling me stuff, so it would not surprise me.
Got it. He also is talking about the picture. Is there a picture of him hanging out on the edge of a window, like looking out a window, or because he showed me this picture being like one of his favorites? Okay.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Because he's acknowledging that picture. He also says he's been pulling your hair at night when you're falling asleep. So if you've been feeling weird tugs, he said that's him trying to get your attention. He also said he is proud of you because he says you try to make things better for yourself, or you try, and he says that's more than some people can say. He's also talking about this. Do you have a sibling or brother?
Stepbrother.
Okay. Do you not get along, or is there a little bit of a weird... Okay, because he's acknowledging the disconnect with the brother energy. He's also saying that it's okay. You don't have to be like close family. Like he gets it. He understands that. He also said, thank you. Are you in Houston or in Texas? Okay. He's showing me... So what I'm thinking of, because I feel like if I were in Houston, I want to go to Austin, but he's just talking about Austin. So I'm not sure where he's going with that. Is there another smaller town or city closer to you that you've considered moving to or considered like relocating to?
We've been talking about moving. We just don't know where.
Okay. Here's the way he makes me feel. There might be a town that's like not that far away from you. I don't mean town like a little small town. I'm talking about like just a smaller city. But there might be a smaller city that's not that far away from you that might actually be a better option, or might be easier to just make it like a move there, because he's also acknowledging like it's a town over. Like if you're in Texas, Houston, Austin is like maybe 2 hours away. It's not that far away. But wherever you are, it's almost like there might be a smaller city closer to you that might be a viable option for you. He also talks about, thank you. Banana pajamas. Do you have the banana pajamas, or are there like a banana shirt or banana pajamas, or some funny thing about it's either bananas or the Oscar Mayer Wiener truck, but it's something about this long like shaped thing that's like a banana or a, you know what I'm thinking about? You remember the bananas and pajamas, like little...
I think I know what you're talking about. The only thing that I can think of right now is like some stupid banana song that my cousin used to sing.
Okay. Would your dad know about that, or would he?
I think he probably would, because he was kind of close with my cousin, Mike, so.
Okay, so this might be his way of trying to bring in the cousin or saying hello to the cousin. He also, thank you. Do you have his... I feel like I want to wrap something around my wrist, but I don't think he would have worn this. Do you know if there's something that...
Yeah.
Okay, he's just acknowledging that. So he's just bringing it up. He says, he also is apologizing to your mom because he kind of could be difficult or very stubborn, and it was just really hard to deal with. But he's like, she can't speak, she can't talk, she's not want to talk, so he's almost making fun of your mom too. So he's just like messing with her, but also acknowledging to your mom and saying that hello to her, but also apologizing for being such a pain in the butt. But he is letting you know that he loves you. I'm smelling smoke. Are you a smoker as well? Because I'm smelling smoke.
Yeah. And I'm a smoker.
Well, you're a vapor, right? You're a vapor?
Both, actually, because I use cannabis.
Got it. Yeah, he's just acknowledging being careful and being cautious and just trying to take care of yourself, because he doesn't want
I'm actually quitting tomorrow. I'm starting patches tomorrow.
That's it. So he's just letting you know that he wants you to like take care of yourself and not don't be like him, is what he's saying. Don't be like me.
Yeah, that's why I want to quit. Thank you so much. Bless you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna do one more. I have enough time for one more, and then I think I'm gonna call it a night, and then we're going to do our study group, because we got our study group coming out. So let's see who wants to... Annie. Let's do Annie. Let's see. Hello.
Ferny!
How you doing, sweetheart?
Oh, I'm so much better now for seeing you.
Awesome. What did you want to ask me?
Well, I always want to know how my daughter's doing,
Mm-hmm.
but also I'm trying to sell my house, and I wonder if we see it happening soon.
Yeah, 2 months. So I think it'll take you about 2 months
Hmm.
to sell it. I also think that the first offer might be a lowball offer, and I feel like it's just them testing you to see how low you're willing to go. You kind of need to stick as close to the like what you actually want as possible. You may have to come down a bit though. I almost feel like you might have to come down maybe 15 or 20,000. So
Yeah, I did. I just lowered the price today.
okay, cool. So I think that yeah, it's 2 months. Give it 2 months, and I think you'll be done. I almost feel like you might be closing before Christmas, so I think you're going to be done before the holidays come in. Okay.
That's my goal.
Your daughter, she keeps showing me a luck charm. Do you have like a four-leaf clover or some sort of like Irish like symbol or good luck charm that's connected to her?
Oh, that's her deal. Yeah, 40
Got
leaf
it.
coat.
Got it, because she's acknowledging that. She also keeps referencing, thank you. It's gonna sound, was she ever in dance or any kind of performance in school? Because she's almost like wanting to like, she's like acting like your cheerleader. So do you know if she was ever in dance or did anything like that?
No, not
Okay.
dancing.
It's weird because she's acting like your cheerleader. So she's almost like cheering you on or acting like your cheerleader. So
Well, I
there's,
need that.
okay.
I need that.
No, there's more to it. There's more to it. I'm seeing a plaid skirt and I'm trying to figure out where she's going with this because the only time I think of plaid skirts is if someone's a cheerleader or they were in private school. Is there something
She
about,
was in private
okay,
school.
got it. Ah, that's it. Okay. So she's acknowledging the plaid. So I'm assuming you have pictures of her when she was in private school and she
Oh,
looked,
yeah.
yeah, so she's acknowledging that. She said, Mom, she said the time in private school made up for all of the naughty things that I did. So it helped me get into heaven. So she's making a joke about it.
Oh, that's good.
Into heaven, so she's laughing about that. Do you also, thank you, do you have a lock of her hair or is there,
I do.
yeah, she knows that you have a lock of her hair, so she's acknowledging that. Thank you. Were you thinking about getting like a piece of jewelry or something that you could put the hair in that's like clear?
I did that
Got
already.
it. She's acknowledging
I have a lock of hair in a special box that says "Forget Me Not." It's a vintage
that.
box, and then I put a lock of her hair in a clear locket from my sister, her aunt.
Perfect. Perfect.
So, and it was lovely.
Yeah, so she's acknowledging this. She's referencing that as well. Is there she's trying to give me a name. I feel like it's an H name. It feels it to some extent I feel like it sounds like a male's name, but it's a female's name. Is there like a Heidi or Haley or Hannah? Is there an H female name connection?
Well, she had a real good friend named Haley.
Okay, she's probably just trying to say hello to her friend and acknowledge her friend Haley. Do you know if they did something where they did like a get together around a fire pit or some sort of like a fire?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. She's acknowledging whatever they did, and almost like they may have said like things about her around it, almost like honoring her in this way. So she's acknowledging that as well. I love you, Mom. I love you, Mom. Um, do you still smell her clothes?
I don't have any clothes, but I have her perfume.
Okay, because I feel like I'm smelling her scent. That makes sense. Because I was going to say there was a scent you could smell, but then I wanted to go to close. She's just acknowledging smelling her or smelling that scent. So she's
I
referencing.
spray it on her puppy on special occasions.
Got got it. So when she's acknowledging the smell, she's also, thank you. Is there also, I know you talked about a puppy, but is there another dog that's like a poodle or like a poodle mix?
No, it's a Chihuahua.
No, there's another dog. She's referencing another dog. So there's something about another dog. What I'm seeing is the Labradoodles. That's what I'm seeing. So do you know there's something about a Labradoodle or a poodle that's like a Labrador and poodle mix?
Not that I know of.
Okay, she's acknowledging an animal. That there's an animal there with her. That's a Labradoodle that looks like this, and it's white. It's a white Labradoodle. Might be a creamy color, but I think it's white. Someone that connected to her just had to put this dog down, or may have lost this dog. She wants to let this person know that the dog is there. She also. Yeah.
Oh, her my friend who lost her little white poodle dog is coming to see me tomorrow.
Got it. Okay, then that may be what she's talking about. She might, because I've never actually interacted with a poodle. I've only interacted with Labradoodles. That may have been the way she was trying to get me to talk about.
And it was white too.
That's it. So she's probably just trying to tell your friend tomorrow when you talk to her that the poodle's there with her and that she doesn't need to worry about it. Yeah.
And she did know that dog too. So.
Yeah. Also, is there an Annabelle or Annabeth or Annie Beth or Annabella name?
Annie, that's me.
Oh, Oh, you're Annie. Okay, so she's acknowledging your name. She's repeating it. Is there another Annie in the family? Because she's referencing the other one above you. This would have been a great
Oh,
grandmother.
well, I was named after my parents' favorite aunt.
Oh,
So, Aunt Annie.
got it. And Annie is around you, and she comes around you, and she just says that, yeah, she's been keeping up with you as well.
That's sweet. How wonderful.
All right, sweetheart. I'm sending you
Thank you.
love. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Love you, Fernie. You're wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Love you too, baby.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye. All right, guys, we are done for today. So I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I'm going to get back on here because Michelle's waiting for me so we can start our study group. So if you guys want to get a reading or jump on here again, I will be back on Friday, same time, same place, and then you'll have another shot of that as well, okay? I'm sending you all lots of love. Hey,
Hi.
beautiful.
How are ya?
I'm
Oh, I
good.
love that you got excited
I'm
for
all like
me.
happy to see you. I'm happy to see you. It's like a dog. I feel like I'm a dog. Like, you know, like. Oh, all right, Sarah. Let me get my shit together here. How's your day going so far, Mama?
Okay. It's okay. I mean, it's a day. You know, you just got to take them, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
So we just, I mean, and until we can like not be doing second grade together at home, we're just gonna be rolling with it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure is.
Mm-hmm.
Sure is. All right. So what was the last one we did?
I think we're on 39. Let me open my book. Sorry, guys. I had to get my charger cable because I wasn't trying to get made fun of again.
It was wonderful. It was perfect. It was perfect.
I know. I was like, so it's just all up and through the episode.
Oh, Lord Jesus. It's fire. Lord Jesus, fire. All right.
Yes. I'm glad you said that too because I'm looking for her picture because she's going in.
Oh, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, Lord, yes. Miss, what's her
Ain't
name?
nobody got time for that.
Yeah, what is her name? Her name was Sweet Brown,
Yes.
Sweet Brown? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is that lady's name? I was about to type
Yeah.
lady who said. Okay.
Mm-mm. All right. So 39. So you want to, did we do 39?
I think we did. Let's see.
Spiritual
Yeah.
identity.
You know what? I think maybe we did do 39.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on 40.
Okay.
All right. Hold on. Let me get myself situated here because I got to bring my feet a little bit closer. On with breath, fresh breath.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. And hey, FYI, everybody, this is our study group time now, so the readings are done with. So this is we are on a course in miracles, and we're actually doing the expanded book that has all of Helen's notes. I'm sorry, Helen Schumacher, ain't it? Schumacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of her notes. So we are on a Course in Miracles, and this is our study group. If you guys have anything to add to the material, feel free to post it in the comment section, and we're going to take a look at them in a little while. If you are on YouTube or Facebook, y'all might get visited by trolls. So if someone pops in offering to do a reading for y'all or asking y'all to private message them, it's probably a troll. You just need to report them as spam and then go ahead and block them. Okay. All right, guys. Okay. So do you want me to start, or you want to start?
You can start.
All right. So number 39, the miracle. Oh no, number 40. Sorry, number 40. Miracles are a blessing from parents to children. This is just another way of phrasing the earlier principle about by those who have more for those who have less. And the notes are, children do not belong to parents, but they do need to share their parents' greater abundance. If they are deprived, their perception becomes distorted. When this occurs, the whole family of God, or the sonship, is impaired in its relationships. Ultimately, every member of the family of God must return. The miracle calls to him to return because it blesses and honors him, even though he may be absent in spirit.
Okay. Now, I wrote this last week, but I wrote quite a bit because I felt like, one, as a parent, I will say that I won't put it all on society, but I know in some of my struggles, the society that we live in is not necessarily designed for us to be great, amazing, all the time, 100% loving parents, because our cups are so empty. All we're doing is running, 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 trying to get so that we can then give to the kids. But what they really need is us. So I think that is one thing that came from 2020 that was a blessing, because I've got to spend more time at my house, and I've got to repair some things that have been broken because of that whole way we were living.
Yeah.
But I did say that you have to break the chains to adjust what's important to find the way to give abundantly to your children. And then I noted here single moms, because we have to do both jobs. And then we often feel guilty for taking the time we need to replenish ourselves in order to then pour from that cup. And then I also said that in this country, I believe that the government, the way it's designed, they are the parent, but they do not give out abundantly to us, the children. And so I think, we're just not receiving what we really need in terms of love from our mom and daddy,
I, the model, like the model of like parent and child is like a repeating theme in many different like experiences. Like when I used to be at Starbucks, I acted like, Ferny, like mommy Ferny, to all of my partners, because I felt responsibility to them to take care of them and to make sure they were going to be okay. Right now I feel like a parent with everyone that I minister to or that I share knowledge to, because I feel like it's my responsibility to share whatever I can to give them what I didn't get a chance to get easily myself. So it's my way of doing that. And I think that's the goal of every parent, is I want to give my child more than what I was able to give to receive myself. But at the same time, I think life in general doesn't make it easy for any parent to be able to give everything that ideally would be given to a child. Most parents that I know of have to work or are really busy having to work, unless you have a partner who supports the home, and then you can devote more of your time with your children, which I can completely understand. Some people think, oh, well, she's a really good mom. I'm like, well, maybe she was raped or she was molested. She wants to make sure that no one's going to touch her kids like that. Right. Maybe that's why she's such a good mother, and she doesn't want to work and wants to spend all her time with her parents. So I think it's a repeating pattern in a lot of different instances. I think when they're talking about it in this instance, I think they're kind of, it's like a dualistic meaning, because I feel like it's talking about the very human experience of being a parent to a child, and like the dynamics there. And then I also think there's a spiritual kind of perspective around it as well. And what I wrote down was, so to repeat the thing, was miracles are a blessing from parents to children. This is just another way of phrasing the earlier principle about by those who have more for those who have less. And when I went through the notes, I was like really trying to dig in there. Whatever it was, we are all under the impression that we have been abandoned and are alone as children of Source. This is the perception and facilitates methods of behavior and thinking that support this belief as reality. Instead, we are all like spoiled children, loved and cherished, and our parent is continuously supporting our choices. And the choice that is being supported in this reality is the game that we are alone in the room and must figure out how to be and exist amongst ourselves with the many challenges of our lives. Those of us who perceive the game accept the challenges and work to support the games and the efforts amongst ourselves. The effort amongst ourselves becoming the parent. This allows for unity with Source and a return to the expanded self, and lets us out of the space that we play games in. In other words, being here in physical form, we forget that we're part of something greater than ourselves, and that we're not parentless, we're not loveless, we're not in the darkness by ourselves. We only perceive that because we said, Mom, I want to play a game. You want to play a game? Yeah, I want to play a game. Okay. I want you to figure out how much I love you. Okay. And I'm going to put you in this room. There's no light, and there's a bunch of other kids in the room, and you need to figure out how to play with these kids, how to learn to feel, what it's like to be with each other. You have to learn to depend on each other. And remember, I love you. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Okay. We get thrown into the dark room. We're like, like, I'm alone.
Yeah.
Where's my mommy? I want my mommy. I want my mommy. Knowing that you just had this agreement and conversation. And then you got these other kids. We're all trying to play around with each other. Of course, there's natural bullies in the pile of kids, in that group of kids. Those bullies are trying to take control. They want to be in charge. They want to dominate the show. You got other kids who are just completely like debilitated. They don't know how to be, how to do, how to think. Then you got these other kids who rise up to the challenge, and they become parents in the process of trying to find a sense of balance and a sense of control within that whole dynamic. And what they discover is that the only way to be able to have enough courage and strength to rise up to that moment and to that point is to have faith and a sense of love that is just, you just have to trust that it's there. So once you come into that, that begins to create a new mindset, and you connect with a larger portion of yourself, a larger perspective within yourself. And I think that a lot of parents like yourself, when you go through the process of accepting the challenge of rising up and being the go-to person for these youngins who are going to need you, you have great courage and you have great faith. And there is a faith there. There is a love there that you don't even realize you're like tapping into, despite the fear, despite the craziness that you're thinking in the moment. So I think that some of us on a spirit level, we come down here and we're like thrown in with all these other, fools in the same room trying to figure it out. And some of us just rise up to the occasion to try to help each other out. And I think that's true spirituality, because you start, even if you don't remember exactly what happened before you got thrown in the room, you remember that there's something more to you than what you are immediately experiencing through your experiences with others and engagements with others. And I think that's what we have and that's the gift, that's the miracle, because we're being given the opportunity to rise up and realize that we are also the source. We are also that great being that provides those opportunities.
Yeah. And I really, I had a thing, it wasn't even a fight. I saw this Facebook challenge that was like, let's settle the spirituality versus religion debate now. And it's okay if you don't believe in God. I'm like, but who did you talk to? Because if you're talking to somebody who is really practicing spirituality, absolutely they believe in God. There's no other way that we can even do this.
There's nothing, you don't question that. Yeah, I don't think people get that.
I just and so he asked, I said, well, who said that? And he's like, well, you're confused. I said, because I'm confused. He's like, well, no one said that. That must be why you're confused. I said, okay, but the first line of this says, it's okay if you don't believe in God. So then he says, well, listen, if you don't believe in God, that's fine. I'm like, I did not say that.
Now he's just running around in circles. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says, my parents have a church if you want to come. I'm like, I'm about to go do a book study. I was reading Ecclesiastes last night up in my house to my kids. I know you lying, because I don't need that. I am free to create my own relationship. I don't have to go to your church to be whole.
Yeah. I think, first of all, I think a church that empowers the individual and not the pastor is true spiritual work in God's image, because that is actually what the source or God is doing. It's not trying to say, I am the ultimate and nothing above me. No, that's not what God does. True loving God is like, I love you and you are who you choose to be, and I honor and support that in any way, shape, or form. And it is in that respect that you have in that relationship that you have with source. God doesn't demand worship, because God, that's an ego that's an ego experience. That's a human
Right.
ego experience. It's like, worship me, worship me. I'm like, ain't you God? Can't you just snap your fingers and like make people worship you? Why you gotta ask for it? Like, the moment you desire to be worshipped is the moment it should already be in
Yeah.
creation. And that isn't what's the case. So no, I think that spirituality is unique in that you don't have to define or put God in a box.
Yeah.
You're allowing yourself to have a relationship with God and source in any form that it shows itself to you in your life. And your life is your church. Your life is your experience, and you're living and breathing that. You don't just show up on Sunday and put money in the bin and get people to tell you what to believe, what to do, and then damn everybody else, and then you go home. That's not spirituality. That's that's just religious dogma. There are religious organizations out there that do practice true spirituality, that come from a place of authentic spiritual growth and development, but there are not as many of those as there are just churches and people holding up a book and acting like they've been empowered and they have the righteousness to control you and to dominate you, manipulate you. And you got a lot of these fools who started churches because they just simply want to be worshiped, or they want to feel like they have some sort of authority or power, and they use it to dominate the congregation. But it's not authentic spirituality. It's not even authentic, religion. They're not even using the religion. They're just using the words to empower themselves and give themselves authority.
Right. They want to feel like a king. And I think you said something important too, just about parenthood overall, because again, just like this text is saying, your children do not belong to you. And when I realized that, it really improved our relationships, because I'm like, I am not the controller of these people. No. I just gave birth to them. I'm just a vessel that brought these light beams here.
Yeah.
Because they have their own work to do here. They're not going to fulfill my purpose. They have a separate purpose, and hers might be to sing while we're trying to do this.
Right.
But, like, I can't be like, don't do that. Stop doing that. Don't live like that, because I am being an oppressor. And there are ways that they need control, just like we talked about last week.
Yeah.
But if the way that I'm saying stop doing that is because it's my ego that's affected by it, then that's wrong. And then I'm not being a good parent, because I'm not allowing them to be free. Because that was one of the reasons why I've always felt so unloved at home, is because people were like, don't be yourself. Stop acting like that. And I felt like I was oppressed every day, because I would be like, who wants to do a performance? And everybody would be like, that's not what we're doing right now. So stop. So I try to let her be free there, because I know what that feels like for somebody to be like, don't be who you are. It hurts.
Yeah. I mean, especially growing up Catholic, and we all know being Catholic is one of the easiest ways to find yourself being oppressed, because there's a lot of rules for a lot of different things, and you just basically aren't supposed to be a human being. By default, if you're a human being, then you're a mistake. And that's the mechanism that immediately, okay, that's wrong, because we're a mistake and we're not supposed to be what we are. The desire of a God for you to be something different would immediately make you different. Right. So, why allow things to run amok, and then want it to be different? Yeah. If you want it to be different, it would be different. That's the power of a God,
Right. You're just a sand, Ferny.
Yeah, exactly. The other one is the miracles are reminders and communication from the parent to the child that this is not all there is. We are in time out because we choose to be in time out, which is the physical world that we live in. We have not been abandoned, and this was just a game, not a punishment. So this was just a game. This was just a challenge. It's like, hey, y'all, you want to go, participate in the human challenge? Ooh, that sounds juicy and dramatic, girl. I want to try that. And then we get down here and we're like, I've been abandoned. No, girl. You ain't been abandoned. You chose this, and you done forgot that you chose this, and now you crying because you're part of the human experience like you wanted to be, and you were supposed to forget. And so get it together and, try to get something from this. And if you can remember who you are, you're going to be okay. You want to read the next one?
Yes. Ugh. Okay. That remembering part. Okay. 41. The miracle acknowledges all men as your brothers and mine. It is a way of perceiving the universal mark of God in them. This is the true strawberry mark of brotherhood. Your false idea about your own exclusion from universal love is both fallacious and arrogant. Your real specialness does not stem from exclusion, but from inclusion. Hello. All my brothers are special. You should stop interpreting this as all except me. This is ridiculous. That's my word. The implied lack of love that this version contains is way off the mark and misses the level of right thinking entirely. You must heal your perception in this respect. You must work a miracle on behalf of yourself here. See the principle about miracles as perception correctors before you can extend miracles as creative energizers, which they are. 50 million Frenchmen can be wrong because the notion is too fragmented. What can't be wrong is the universal sonship of which you are a part. God is not mocked, may arouse anticipation of punishment, but it is really a reassurance. God would be mocked if any of his creations lacked holiness. The creation is whole. The mark of wholeness is holiness, not holes. The sonship has no holes anywhere. Remember, God is not mocked under any circumstances. Oh, that's deep. That was deep, Helen.
Well, and that's basically saying like there's nothing is offensive to God. Nothing is offensive to Source because it's all been given the ability to expand in whatever direction, shape, and form. So, what did you write about that one? What did you get? What were your notes?
Okay, so last week Michelle wrote this. We are all, and I say that because I literally feel like I've been shifting and changing every week. Okay. Mm-hmm. We are all connected, even those you dislike. Separating yourself based on how much money you have or how large your following is means you don't understand that there is no better. I often find that people who come from certain religious groups perceive everyone but themselves as powerful. Mm-hmm. These people are not to be placed on a pedestal. We are all able to use universal love to create as it is free to us. Mm-hmm. And then I also say, raise your vibration so that you can use forgiveness to create space for love to give and receive more of it. We are all creators here, none more able than others. The perception is the error on the part of many of us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I see a lot of people who still perceive, because of their religious beliefs, that God is everywhere but in them. So then they are looking at others like they are better than them or achieving more, but they probably just set their goals differently, you know, or do other things, or maybe they don't have as much ego or whatever's holding them back. And it's like when we start to separate ourselves from the whole by what we look like and where we live and skin color, political affiliation, we're just breaking apart what is really supposed to be, which is that brotherhood. And that's why I listen to that song all the time, because I feel like that's what we need to be doing. Just peace and good and brotherhood. But of course, it's going to take us years to get there, because I don't know what we're doing now.
Oh, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It will never happen in this world or on this plane of existence, because the point is the drama. You know, it's like, you know, well, why am I watching this show? There ain't nothing happening on there. She's talking to him. He's talking to her. They all happy. But there ain't nothing going on. Why am I watching this show? And that's the point. Like, we are here for the show. We're here for the challenge, for the game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it out to be, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you're saying, is that, you know, we should work on cooperating or working together to form some sort of united attempt at being compassionate and loving and respectful for each other. I was watching a documentary. A lot of people, they think that the Romans, the Roman Empire, that they were the greatest like empire on the face of the earth. And a lot of our stuff actually comes from, you know, some of the art and stuff that comes from, you know, Rome and Italy. But, you know, Rome's way of dealing with stuff was they basically showed up somewhere and said, we run the show, we're in control, and you now are part of this. You're part of us, and we own everything you own now. And they basically, like, if you didn't agree with them or cooperate, they'd plunder and destroy whatever. There's also the there's also the, oh gosh, I always want to say Esdrian. It's the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire didn't operate that way, and they were actually there's kind of like a dispute whether it was the Persian Empire or the Roman Empire that was the greatest empire on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But the Persian Empire, they didn't go in and plunder and destroy. Yes, there was fighting. Yes, there was wars. But they went in and basically said, this is our territory. You live in our space now. Be as you will. And you can still worship as you want. You can still be who you want to be. We're just going to take control and we're going to regulate everything.
Right.
And that's pretty much what they did. And so they actually were able to hold on to a lot of their wealth and a lot of their resources for a long period of time because they had that model of going in and just like going along with whatever was the trend at that time. So they had these places that were cities where they had Jewish mosques next to Christian like temples or houses next to Muslim temples. I mean, like they were like across the street from each other. And this was back in the ancient times, and they were able to maintain and have that because they had that mindset of just let's just go with the flow and let people be who they want to be, and we're just going to like roll with the soft touch, you know. And they were able to do that. A lot of people don't talk about the Persian Empire because, you know, dominating, controlling, and twisting everything into the vision that you would want is supposedly the best way for things to be, and that's not the case. And unfortunately, that actually tends to create more war, more division, more strife, as we're seeing now, you know. And so the best way to run an empire is to live and let live, and to rule with a soft touch, but make sure that your people have what they need. And I think that's like, I feel like that's basic math, and we're not even like understanding that. We're not even grasping that can actually work.
Right. And it's like, you know, that bumper sticker coexists, and it just has all those different. Yeah. It's like that. Like, why is that wrong? And people are like, no. I'm like, listen, you got to have your free will. Like, that is the gift. So it's like, why are we trying to steal that from everybody? And and that's a very European way to look at how to conquer or how to arrive at a new land. That's what they do everywhere they go, you know?
Yeah.
And they tell you what you're supposed to believe in. And if you don't want to do it, they're like, well, we'll just kill you. And then you just don't feel good. And I don't think that's right. And that's the problem that I have, because I feel like the gift is the free will and the joy, that the fun is supposed to be. Like, we can't get to fun because there's so much drama. Like, can we have some fun, you know?
Something else that I wrote. What I wrote was, because it was, the miracle acknowledges all men as your brothers and mine. It is a way of perceiving the universal mark of God in them. This is the true strawberry mark of brotherhood. A strawberry mark is like this skin abnormality that some children are born with, and it looks like strawberries, but it's like the coloration of the skin. But it's like a birth mark. What I wrote was the synchronicities and alignments, because remember, when we talk about miracles, y'all, we're talking about miracles as if there are synchronicities and alignments. There are ways for the universe to kind of like align in a way, and how these, you know, synchronicities that happen more often than chance would allow. The synchronicities and alignments validates the connection between all of us. It also reveals the source capacity we each possess. Believing you are an exclusion in lack or are above others is a fallacy. It only serves your need to identify with the desire for exclusivity and a way to feel special, which is a limited experience in love or connection and is much more associated with a lack mindset. So if you're wanting to stand out or be above others or be, you know, so different that you're special, then you're basically in a lack mindset, because you're basically acknowledging that there's only so much love to go around. There's only so much support and nurturing energy to go around. And so you're trying to find a way to receive more of it by being special or by standing out or being above. And so it's almost like, okay, you know, Utilize, yes, utilize miracles as a way of correcting this misperception by validating that you are source form. I just came up with this new term. There's source and then
Okay.
there's source form. We're source form. So there's source
Okay.
and then there's source form. Okay. So I've been starting to use that in my writings. So utilize miracles as a way of correcting this misperception by validating that you are source form. You can use miracles to create and manifest. A lack of acknowledgement that we are not source form is an offense to creation. Wholeness comes from acknowledgement and understanding of our divinity. In other words, not understanding our divinity, not accepting that we are divine beings, that we are source form, is essentially you trying, is you offending, not offending, but you kind of not seeing the sacredness and the perfection that is creation, you know. And it's almost like turning your back on the reality of creation, that we are all divine beings in human form. And so if you want to feel whole, if you want to feel complete, if you want to feel completely like aligned in your form, wholeness comes from acknowledgement and understanding of our divinity. So in other words, there are days where I wake up and sometimes I feel like I feel a little off today, or I don't feel like I feel completely connected today, or I don't feel like, and when I feel like that, which doesn't really happen that often, I'm just using that as an example, but when that happens, I remind myself like, hey, don't forget who you are. You're here for very specific reasons. You're fulfilling your work. You're doing what you set out to do. Don't forget, you're only here temporarily. Make the best of it and try to have some fun. So I tell myself when I feel that way. And in the beginning, it's almost like, yeah, whatever. Like it doesn't feel authentic. But now, because I do it so often, it feels pretty authentic. And it's almost like slapping myself. Like, slap yourself to silly, Ferny. You're here temporarily. You're fulfilling your work. Do what you got to do. You're only here for a limited amount of time. Have some fun. And so that's what I have to tell myself. And in doing that, I also acknowledge that everybody else is also divinity as well. We're all part of the same gang. We're all in the same closet, you know, in the same dark space, and we're just trying to figure ourselves out. And so I'm like, okay, well, I gotta help bring some like balance to the chaos. So let me do what I can do. But if we remind ourselves of this, even if we're going through a tough time, it won't be as tough. We can minimize the suffering that we may experience, because we're going to experience suffering here. It's part of the game, but we don't have to suffer as much. And some of us have a tendency of putting ourselves through so much more suffering than we really need to.
Yeah, so much more. I mean, I was doing that for like all the years. I was like, well, everything is terrible. And then, of course, everything would be terrible. And then I'd be like, why is everything so terrible?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And
God.
Michelle asked a good question. Yes, Michelle's like, how do we know what we are here for? You're here to be Michelle. You're here to be yourself. You're here to live with your unique perspective. In other words, I'll make a story up so that you can kind of get it in your head. One day God had an idea, and God was like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. And from the moment that that idea came into existence, you were created. And God was like, well, let's see what happens. And so the idea began to expand and grow in infinite directions and in infinite ways and in infinite forms. And that is what your soul is. And so in all the directions and in all the ways and in all the forms that it grew out and expanded, new perspectives, new ideas, new realities, new forms came into being. And that's you, Michelle. So you are the expression of source that expressed into soul form, that expressed into spiritual being, which is you. And so you're just an expression of an expression of an expression. So creation is this massive expansion that will never end. It's ongoing forever. When it stops, it's just because God is taking a breath and saying, wow, and then we're right back out again. And so that's pretty much the measurement of expression, which why they say that the Big Bang, at some point, it'll implode in on itself, and it's just because God is taking a breath, taking it in, and putting it back out. And so that's all it is. But you are an expression of an expression of an expression, Michelle. And so that's what you are. So you can choose how you want to be, who you want to be, but you get to choose, and you have to decide every day, who am I going to be on this planet? Who am I going to be in this world? How do I want to be in this world? And then find something that allows you to express that in its most authentic form. You don't need an angel to descend from the heavens with a book that says, hey, Michelle, this is who you're supposed to be, and then become that. That's not what you're here for. You're not here to be told what to do or to be told who to be. You're here to choose who to be and what to do. And when you do that, opportunities will come into your life that allow you to align with the truest, most authentic form of yourself. And you can want to pin it down to career and work, but you're way bigger than just a career or a job. So,
yeah, I feel like that's usually what people are trying to figure out. How can I figure out what I'm supposed to do career-wise that will fulfill me?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But there's
Someone
so
had
much more than that.
I had an e-reading this morning, and one of the person's questions was like, what is my ultimate purpose here? I'm like, oh, stop it. Like, stop. Like, every time someone says, what is my ultimate purpose or what is my true purpose? I want to slap, like, get a little twig and snap, because it is like, girl. And I always would tell people the exact same thing. You are here to be exactly who you are. Don't fall into, I'm only here for one singular event or singular thing, because that would make your whole life a waste. You're not here. You're not a waste. Your whole life is not a waste. Even the stuff that you don't get right this time around, even the stuff that you don't ideally do this time around, doesn't matter. None of it's a waste. You're going to use all of it. So
Yeah, and I feel like too, if we could look at purpose, like, it's not necessarily what you do, but how you do it. So like, it's whatever you're doing, as long as you are your most authentic as you can be at the time,
Yeah.
and moving from that place of feeling guided to do it. And I don't like to say driven, because then it's like you're just go, 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 go. But if like it's what you feel really called to be doing, it could be like, I always talk about going to have a tent and being a gypsy outside. Y'all gonna see me doing it at some point. But I always feel like, like, if it's just whatever you feel really good doing, then that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what's the next? 42. I think that'll be our last. That's a big one.
Yeah, this is like super long. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to start, and you want to?
If you want, I mean, it's what you want to do.
What do I want to do? Did you read the last one? Did I read the last one?
Yeah.
I did read it.
You read it, so let me read it.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Wholeness is the perceptual content of the miracle. It thus corrects or atones for the faulty perception of lack. We can now return to the fundamental distinction between miracles and projection. The stimulus must precede the response and must also determine, or at least influence, the kind of response that is evoked. The relationship of stimulus and response is extremely intimate. The behavioralistic terminology is because this part deals with behavior. Behavior is response. So the question, response to what, becomes crucial. Stimuli of all kinds are identified through perception. You perceive the stimulus and behave accordingly. It follows then that, as ye perceive, so will ye behave. Consider the golden rule again. You are asked to behave toward others as you would have them behave toward you. This means that your perception of both must be accurate. Since the golden rule is the order for appropriate behavior, you can't behave appropriately unless you perceive accurately, because appropriate behavior depends on lack of level confusion. The presence of level confusion always results in variable reality testing, and hence in variability in behavioral appropriateness. So this is a long one, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know, and it is very complicated, because I was going through this and I was having to break it down for myself, and I was like, wait a minute, girl, slow down, roll it back, and then I have to go back and re-listen and reread and re-listen and reread. But we're going to break it down for y'all, because I have a crap load of stuff I wrote down here. All forms of debasing your self-image are fundamental perceptual distortions. They inevitably produce either self-contempt or projection onto others, and usually both. Since you and your neighbor are equal members of the same family, where'd I go? turned away and I didn't. Oh yeah, same as family. As you perceive both, so will you behave towards both. The way to perceive for golden rule behavior is to look out from the perception of your own holiness and perceive the holiness of others. Note the very old Jewish practice of changing the name of a person who is very ill, so that when the list is given to the angel of death, the person with the name will not be found. This is actually a distortion of a revelation about how to alter or avert death. The revelation's proper content was that those who change their mind, not name, about destruction or hate do not need to die. Death is a human affirmation of a belief in hate. That is why the Bible says there is no death, and that is why I demonstrated that death does not exist. Remember that I came to fulfill the law of by reinterpreting it. The law itself, if properly understood, offers only protection. It is those who have not yet changed their minds who have entered the hellfire concept into it. Remember, I said before that just because nature abhors a vacuum, it does not follow that the vacuum is filled with hellfire. The emptiness engendered by fear should be replaced by love, because love and its absence are in the same dimension, and true correction cannot be undertaken except within a dimension. Otherwise, there has been a confusion of levels. You need considerable clarification of the channel role. If you ask somebody what he believes before you tell him what you believe, then you are implying that you will say what he approves. This is not the real authority. The right way to complete the sentence, when they told me what to do, is I referred the question to the only real authority. The Bible says, to everyone then who gives witness to me before men, I will give witness before my Father in heaven. The quotation means that you represent or witness for the authority in whom you believe. Your witnessing demonstrates your belief and thus strengthens it. I assure you that I will witness for anyone who lets me, and to whatever extent he himself permits it. Those who witness for me are expressing through their miracles that they have abandoned deprivation in favor of the abundance that they have learned belongs to them. So that's a lot, y'all, but I wanted to get it out because that's probably going to be where we're going to end today anyways. But and plus I didn't do any more notes after that because I got carried away by watching Charmed this morning. But anyway, so there's a lot going on in that, and you have to remember that the original Course in Miracles only has that one line. Wholeness is the perceptual content of the miracle. It thus corrects or atones for the faulty perception of lack. So all that other stuff that I read were her notes and her channeling, because apparently she's channeling Jesus Christ Superstar. So she's channeling and it's coming through, and she's trying to like have that conversation with Jesus. And so there's a lot of other things going on there, but I do like the fact that they go into that whole like conversation, because I had to go back and like I was like, wait a minute, 10 years ago had I read that, I would not know what the hell they were talking about. Literally would not know what they were talking about. I get it today, but it ain't easy to understand because it's very complex.
Yeah. And then you already know how they work, these two over here. They're like, and another thing that's all like outside the scope of what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
So I just have like a little bit. So I'll go first, and then you can break down all the jazz that's over there. That's going to help us really understand this. Okay, so this is what I got out of it. Wholeness, which is in essence the integration of all your parts, helps in your recognition of miracles and things that are taking place to induce growth. Often we believe that we're being punished, which I feel like we already covered this, but anyway, when what's really intended is the use of a new, what is that? I don't know. The use of a new something. We'll just allow it. We're not truly victims in spirit, although physically we can be hurt by others who on an ego level have not yet become aware of the truth, which is that we are all parts of the whole. And the way to acknowledge our connection is by using love and grace when dealing with someone who is ignoring their own wounds. They don't always know there's another way to live. So be open to the information that comes through other humans, like you already said, divinity and all of us. It may be exactly what you prayed for. Choosing to be a light in this world and helping others to heal is what is meant for us in Ascension. That's what I wrote.
So for you, like, you know, how do you feel like when you're dealing with someone where, because I mean, granted, when you go down the spiritual path, your eyes are kind of opened in so many new ways, and they're constantly being opened in further ways, because
Mm-hmm.
you know, we don't ever completely get the full picture. We're always trying to acknowledge and get pieces of the full picture, but we won't ever get to that here because we're in human form, we're limited, but we are working towards that. And so as you like have evolved spiritually and you try to expand and grow, like, how does it feel like when you're dealing with somebody who they may read the same thing in their text or their religious, you know, Bible or whatever, but they have absolutely no conceptual awareness of what that means. And so it's more of a regurgitation and kind of like a, well, you know, this is what, and so they're operating still from a very fear-based lack mindset,
Mm-hmm.
but they are reading this, which is telling them something different. They're just not grasping it. Like, how has that been for you with that?
I would say that in the beginning, I would try to be like, well, what about this? Have you thought about this? And of course, you get pushback because they're like, of course, I haven't thought about that. That's not true. And that's never going to be the way it is. And I guess as I continue, I'm just kind of like, you'll either get there or you won't, you know? But like the way I'm looking at most people now, because we're seeing a lot of it, is there's going to be a lot of disappointment because as we move, shift, and come to our ascension, people are going to be like really upset that no one came to get them.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that happening. And I try not to dump that on people because they're just not prepared for that information and they aren't going to believe it. So I just really hold a lot. And I'm like, that sounds nice, you know, because I just don't want to be launching what I feel like I've perceived out of something at people who are just not ready for it, you know. Like I try with Terrence all the time. He's like, Mom, I'm not spiritual. I'm like,
Right.
so I'm just like, you know, I just have to respect where people are, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was like going through my own like original awakening, my very first awakening back in the golden years of Ferny, I had these cousins and an aunt, and they had all started. They were originally, you know, because we all grew up Catholic originally, but then they started going to Lakewood and they became born again Christians, and so they were basically damning everybody, like, you know, false idols and the Virgin Mary. Why do you worship her? We're like, we don't worship her. She's just the mother of Christ. So if she gave birth to Christ, I think she should be honored. It's like, you know, like, doesn't that say something about why she was chosen, you know? And so it's just that kind of craziness. But, you know, I remember getting into all kinds of conversations, and we would get into arguments because I was starting to see things from a very different perspective. And I wasn't, at that point, I was going through a spiritual awakening. They were going through the born again phase, and all they could do was damn everybody. But then they talked about all the promises and all the things, but then they spent half their time damning everybody. And I just didn't get that. And I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to help you be kinder people. And it did not click for me. And I would try to poke holes in their like ideology, and they were like not going to have it. Because they were stuck and like attached to the mindset that came along with the religion, with the born again movement. So I just like stopped because I was like, they choose to believe what they want to believe. And over time, it's become more of a practice where if someone has a very specific religious or spiritual belief, I try to like honor that and respect that, because everybody is on their own journey, they're on their own path, and not everybody fits in the same pair of shoes. Not everybody can wear pumps, you know. And so some people can only grasp so much. That doesn't mean that they're less than or they're like below and we're above. It just means they're on a very different journey. Maybe they're not supposed to experience their life from a spiritual perspective. Maybe they're supposed to be very connected to some sort of human like condition that is definitely going to allow them to come forward and come through in a way that is very important.
Yeah.
And so I try to honor and I try to respect everybody's journey until it becomes a threat.
Yeah.
When it becomes a threat, not only to myself, but others who I'm I've been tasked to protect or to support and nurture, at that point, you're not just having an opinion, you're doing the exact opposite of what is source. God, I mean, literally, source's work is to support us in our choices and to allow us to expand. That is the form of source. So it's almost like that behavior of like, this is what we believe and you should believe that too. And damn you for believing what you believe because it's witchery or it's magic or it's Satanism or whatever. Like at that point, everybody else except themselves is damned and doesn't belong or is undeserving of love, of being treated like a human being. So when you put yourself in a category where you have your beliefs, you're entitled to that. You have your path, you're entitled to that. But your path, you don't have the entitlement to put that, to force that path upon other people and upon me. So there's going to be pushback. And that's where it gets to be very like, you know, okay, I respect you as far as you will respect me. But if you're going to come for me, you're going to get it. You're going to find it and you're going to get it. And so, and none of that, you're going to get it even if you don't come for me and you come for all these other folks, because at that point you're coming for something and it's not for you to decide who they should be or what they are here. It's for the creator to decide who and what they are here. You don't have the right to decide who and what they will be here. And so you better take that shit back to your house because that belongs in your closet and you're the hoarder. Keep that shit in your house. So that's the way that I feel. And so that's when I feel like you have a right at that point to push back. And people may not agree with it, and that's okay. People don't have to agree with my way and my approach of doing things. But, you know, if you're an aware being and you start to see your parenthood, your sourcehood within you, you have a right and responsibility to everybody else that you are connected to, and because everybody's source, and we have a right to each other. So what I wrote about that was, and I'll repeat the thing to kind of take us back to it. Wholeness is the perceptual content of the miracle. It thus corrects or atones for the faulty perception of lack. So what I wrote was, when you come together as a whole being in consciousness and awareness, miracles are perceived. In other words, for those of you who want to know what the synchronicity of numbers are and, you know, all of these synchronicities and these alignments and these manifestations, when they start to show up, it means that you're becoming aware in some way of your greater divinity. So it's almost a reminder of that. Synchronicities and energy alignments resolve a mindset and experience of lack because they show you that anything is possible. Anything can happen for you. Perception and behavior come before reaction or manifestation. What you are aware of will affect your behavior. So this is why it is so important to be very careful about what you're aware of, because what you put your attention towards, what you drive your attention towards, will affect your behavior. And what affects your behavior is going to be automatically attached to perception. So perception and behavior come before reaction or manifestation. So that is where your manifestations come from, is how you're aware and how you're behaving. Act towards others the way you wish to be acted upon. Perceive others as you perceive yourself in source form. You can't act appropriately until you perceive accurately. In other words, until you understand and truly see the divinity and the source in all forms, any action you take is in unison of lack. It is in cooperation with lack. It is not until you accept and acknowledge that true divinity in all of us, then you truly begin to behave in a way that is accords with alignment with true purpose and all of that. Inappropriate behavior and inaccurate perception of others is the product of confusion with this understanding. All forms of devaluing and dishonoring yourself are due to perceptual confusion of self. They also produce a misperception of all others and a projection onto them what is not resolved within yourself. The only way to correct this discrepancy is to acknowledge self and all others as source form and operate from that perspective. To operate as an individual affirms lack. To avoid lack, fear, and hatred, you must operate from a source form community mindset. Death does not exist, only the affirmation of lack and association with individual personality form. All suffering, all experiences of pain, all experiences of fear, all experiences of hatred, all experiences of limitation are an affirmation of us as source form. It's an affirmation of us basically choosing to buy into the story of lack, choosing to buy into this human experience as being only the reality and no other reality beyond it. And so all of that is based in this reality. To transcend it, to rise above it, you must acknowledge yourself in true source form and denounce the lack, denounce the things that affirm this reality. This is the tricky part and the thing that I, even myself, struggle with every day, because I know who I am. I know what I am. I know what we all are, and I know who I'm talking to when I'm talking to you. At the same time, it's so easy to get caught up in the daily drama of human experience. So to try to operate and maintain this idea of I am source, but also get the most of your human experience, because there is a reason why you're here. Being human and having human experiences and suffering from a human perspective, having a human consciousness, a human mindset is not a mistake. It is supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. So having the balance between the two is the training of the masters, because there are those who just go off in a mountain somewhere, hide away. They don't even try to participate and engage in the human reality that we know as the reality. They just hide off somewhere and they are meditating 17 hours a day. They don't engage. They don't, and that takes a lot of commitment. That takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of really focused intent. But that isn't testing you. That isn't allowing you to test yourself and how you hold on to your source divinity and also be human at the same time. The greatest masters that have existed on this planet that have helped to transform our civilization and our planet, centuries over, worked and tried to have that balance. And that's the tricky part. And they found their own models. They created their own systems. They created their own methods that worked for them, which is why we have, original Christianity, not the biblical Christianity, but original Christianity, the original words of Christ, which we have the Buddha and the great words and teachings of the Buddha, which we have traditional teachings of Muhammad. All of these great masters who came to try to inspire and to teach from their example, and were the example, not the words, but the exemplification of the teachings. They were the masters because they tried to work with a balance. That is the work of a true spiritual master. That is the hardest path to walk. And I mean, I cannot even affirm how much that requires of a human being. So, but that's the true mastership. And I think that that's what will help us to make this world a better place. And I think most of us are not. Most of us are either on each extreme. A lot of us are not in the middle somewhere. We're either too human or we're too connected to I'm divine, I'm above you, I'm above you. It's like, okay, girl, like back in the middle, because you gotta still mess with everybody else. You gotta still talk to everybody else, So.
Yeah. Are we out of time? I was just gonna say absolutely, because I mean, shoot. I mean, I'm like a baby in this, but I'll be trying it because I have so many things that are like, and I'm like, I'm not. I just try to remember, because I don't have to, just like she says, the behavior, like you don't have to explode. You don't have to attack another person. You don't have to do all of that, and I don't know. I just think people are not doing their work, because that's what we came here to do, was to do the work and the healing, so that we could be like you said, so that we could try to get into that center of peace. And okay, I'll still hang out with y'all, but you messing up a little bit,
Yeah. Well, the golden rule of true compassion and spirituality, you do not have to destroy or diminish others to experience love and to receive joy. If you believe that you do, you are attached to your human fear reality, and you will suffer more because of it.
Yep.
It's that simple, but it's not, because it takes practice in figuring that out. And sometimes people don't figure it out until they go down the path of suffering so deeply in that they either get lost in that or they realize, oh crap, this wasn't the way to do it. And then they reverse course and go in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm. And then judgment too. Just remember that. Like and I said this today, and maybe you'll understand this: internal discernment versus external judgment. That's the way I see spirituality versus religion, because I'm not judging anybody for what they want to do. I just use judgment to fix me as best I can, you know.
All right, everybody, we're out of time. We're about to drop out of time.